Of the Army and Navy, I have directed that all measures be taken for our defense, but always will our whole nation remember the character of the onslaught against us.
Everyone expected and prepared for a war between the United States and Japan since the 1920s. With Japanese armies rapidly expanding onto Chinese borders, the United States were preparing for the long-awaited declaration of war. However, nobody could have seen this coming.
While the carrier-based planes complete their mission, Jap bombers attempt to knock out elements of our task force.
The year is 1937, and the Japanese begin to attack US ships, such as the USS Panay. Tensions between the Japanese and the US rose after the infamous Nanjing Massacre, where 50 to 300,000 people were either dead or raped by the Japanese troops. In 1940, the Japanese invaded French Indochina in an attempt to halt supplies coming into China. The United States stopped all war-related supplies from being sent from the US to Japan. The Japanese didn't appreciate this at all. At this point, the Japanese knew that it was more than likely that the Americans would join the war sometime soon. They thought that the United States would enter the war if they attacked more of the United Kingdom's Southeast Asian colonies. This reasoning led the Japanese to think that their only option was a huge surprise attack to devastate the Americans' navy. Hoping it would dissuade the United States from fighting back and joining the Allies in the war. They also hoped that the United States Pacific Fleet would be so damaged that there would be no way for the Americans to interfere with their plans of invading the UK's Southeast Asian colonies. "7th of December, 1941, 7:48 a.m. The Japanese attack on Pearl Harbor begins. The Japanese prepare their attack by sending out their declaration of war to the Japanese embassy. The problem is, it never got to the United States in time, so the Americans were completely caught by surprise. This incident was declared a war crime after the war. The Japanese sent out 49 Nakajima B-5N Cape bombers and 40 B-5N bombers. This wave had an objective to destroy the aircraft carriers and battleships. The second wave consisted of 51 Aichi D-3A Val dive bombers. This wave was to damage Ford Island and Wheeler Island. As for the third wave, the Japanese sent out 43 Mitsubishi A6M Zero fighters, which were supposed to finish off the attack, damaging aircraft at Ford Island, Wheeler Island, Hickam Field, Kaneohe, and Barbers Point. The 5 midget submarines, all armed with 2 torpedoes each, had left Japan 13 days before the attack. Mounted on bigger L-class submarines, they were launched early in the morning of December 7th. The first one spotted by a US ship at 3:42 a.m. Hawaiian time. 4 midget submarines were eventually sunk by the ships they were attacking, or by defenses. 1 submarine grounded twice and was captured on December 8th. Only one of the crewmen survived, Kazuo Sakamaki, and he became the first Japanese prisoner of war in the US captivity during World War II. Out of all the airplanes that attacked, only 29 were lost. Around 60 Japanese men died in the attack. However, the damage that that the Japanese dealt to the Americans was far greater. The American losses include 4 battleships sunk, 4 battleships damaged, 1 ex-battleship sunk, 1 harbor tug sunk, 3 cruisers damaged, 3 destroyers damaged, 3 other ships damaged, 188 aircraft destroyed, 159 aircraft damaged, 2,335 people killed, and 1,143 more wounded. Pearl Harbor was a devastating attack for the Americans. The attack did a lot of damage and remains to this day one of the worst defeats for the United States. However, what makes this particular attack more memorable and important is the reaction that the public had after the event. Before the attack, the public opinion was already strongly against Japan. However, after the attack, it was clear that the American people were enraged at Japan. Nobody objected when President Roosevelt declared war on Japan the day following the attack. December 8th, 1941, Remember Pearl Harbor became a primary driving force for the Americans in the war. Most of the ships that had sustained damage during the attack were repaired and later used to fight the Japanese Navy. In the end, the very opposite of what the Japanese hoped the attack would achieve happened. Instead of discouraging America from interfering in the war, the attack ended up encouraging them to do so, and evidently gave the people a reason to fight.
I ask that the Congress declare that since the unprovoked and dastardly attack by Japan on Sunday, December 7th, 1941, a state of war has existed between the United States and the Japanese Empire.